everyone, this morning we're gonna bake a sourdough granola and some bread. Usually I bake bread twice a week or once a week depending on the amount of bread that we spend on some stuff and some food. But usually it once, but 2 loaves. But sometimes I might also bake additional batch at the end of the week. But the process is pretty simple. It's always starter, water. I mix it together as you see here. Then I just add in flour, leaving it for 40 minutes, add in salt, and doing some stretch and folds during the day, and just have it ready to bake dough at the next morning. So that's pretty fast, to be honest. It needs attention during the day, but this is not something very difficult. From my experience, everything you need or you might have a problem with is creating a starter, but again, it's a pretty standard thing.
I already started my bread process, and I'm gonna make some granola for kids. I don't have a lot of time for cooking and baking, especially during weekdays, but anyway, I'm trying to spend on it, I believe, 1 hour early morning, and that actually helps me to keep all this food circling in a good shape. So I'm trying to cook something for a day in the morning before school and work start, and then if I have some additional time during the day, I can make some preps for the next day or for the dinner. But today I'm gonna cook some granola. I'm gonna show you how I prepare my granola with a sourdough starter. Anyway, if you don't have starter, you might not use it. You just can connect other ingredients. And the biggest thing and the best thing about granola that you can mix there whenever you want. It can be nuts, it can be grains, whenever you like, whenever you prefer. You can just mix together, put some liquid, and get really amazing results. So I think granola is something much more beneficial than having all this processed food that we can buy in supermarkets, and honestly it doesn't require much time to cook it.
So again, for keeping all grains together, we should create some liquid. So I'm using honey for it, some maple syrup, but again, you might use only one ingredient, either honey or maple syrup. Also, I'm adding some brown sugar for this crispy taste, and also salt. It's also super important to not miss this ingredient, because sometimes people just add in the sweet part but forget about salt. But salt really gives this good special flavor. So, and I'm adding starter. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. You might skip this step. I think this is my second time when I'm adding starter, and I really like it. So yeah, I can use it whenever is possible. I'm trying to use it, especially if I have some discards. It's a good to go recipe. And I'm adding some butter, or it might be oil, avocado oil, or any other oils you prefer. It works fine here, and some cinnamon. I like to add some nuts, and usually I just take whenever I have on a kitchen, and I just cut them a bit to have smaller pieces, and just mix everything in a bowl. Put in some lion's seeds also, as I mentioned, so you just can use whenever you have, and in the end you just mix in everything. A lot of people like to add some chocolate chips or raisins. It's also fine, but I prefer to add all this additional stuff after granola is baked, because otherwise if you put chocolate in this step, it just will melt in oven. So yeah, so we're mixing everything. I'm taking my parchment paper and just put everything in oven. One thing I also wanted to discuss with you guys is actually a homekeeping part of each woman. I think this is something that became outdated during last decades, and women struggling for career building, for moving out of the family, and sometimes I think that it's a weird part. I mean, historically and evolutionary, we were taking care of kids, of our families, our husbands or men. They were just looking for some food and try to survive. But it was changed rapidly during last decades when we got more rights. And I think at some moment we just started to move into some edge case, to some corner case where we just totally work. And when kids just in a daycare or in a school and you don't spend time on food prepare or all these things that were important some decades ago for each family, because at that times women could not just work, because each of them should cook food, take care of kids, and or sometimes everything at once. And it's interesting where evolution moves with each year and with each decade. But I think this new fashion, when housekeeping and cooking from scratch is a bit outdated, it's a weird thing in total, because we're missing a really important part of our lives, just taking care of our beloved ones, taking care of our kids, spending time together. Cooking is not just delivering food for, not just delivering fuel for all your family members. Yeah, it's not something you just can buy or bring from somewhere and put on table. I do believe that that's something much more important. And if you bring love with it, if you bring your best ideas and thoughts, it's actually a great place. Kitchen is a great place where you can be creative, and maybe sometimes you even can bring more value for the world in general. And I think we should keep it in mind and not forget, not to switch totally to external world, but to also keep some time. I'm not saying to stand all the day long on the kitchen and prep food. No, I'm talking just about not forgetting to spend some time with your kids or your family or the people you love and cook some food from scratch. It's not difficult. I'm not talking about cooking some restaurant dishes that requires a lot of your time and efforts, but cooking even simple food, it's not a big deal actually. But that's something that unites people, I think. My granola is ready. It was very crispy, tasty, and to be honest, my kids just finished it in half a day, so I do believe I need to make one more batch next days. So thank you for being with me and see you next week.